not find freedom here. It sounds crazy in one of the freest nations in the world, but I had to be in somebody else's time schedule. If something went on in my life, I had to ask for time off. I worked 50 to 60 to 70 hours a week in my career field. And then when I wasn't working my career field, my husband was a commander. And so I had to leave work and then become Mrs. Commander and do all the social activities that were required of that. So we were on 24/7, had no balance whatsoever.
So one of the things that we don't like to visit very often because things were really bad. Yes, we had good careers. We were able to get to the top of the ladder in my military career, and Pat was able to get to the top of the ladder in her nursing career. But when we got to the tops of the ladders and we were looking at retirement, it just wasn't there. What we thought we had was totally gone.
We worked too much. My health was incredibly poor from the amount of stress. Like Max said, I lost my mind, I lost my mobility. On an agony scale, if there's a 1 to 10 scale, I was a 12 every day. And I wasn't a nice person to be around because I hurt all the time and couldn't sleep.
I could see in her eyes when she would hurt, and I couldn't do anything about it, so it really impacted me. I could see severe depression, and I'd never seen that before in her. So it's very difficult for me to handle. I don't suffer from depression, I don't suffer headaches, but when I saw that in her eyes, I just felt helpless. And I really needed to do something about it, but the only thing we had was to look at the medical system, and they weren't helping anymore. And then all of a sudden, Guardian Angel came in and offered us an opportunity to look at Nikan, and reluctantly we both looked at it, and I decided that I needed to do something about it.
My girlfriend, who is a seamstress, tried to introduce me to these technologies to help my problems. And of course, me working with pain control patients for many years, I knew everything. And so I ignored her. Now, it would have been interesting if she'd asked me to look at it financially. I would have looked in a heartbeat because I love to look at things financially. But she didn't. She tried to lead with the products, and so I ignored her. And 10 months, I got worse. So my husband went to look at it, and he said, wow, this is everything that Pat said she'd been searching for. Better sleep, decreased discomfort, better energy. We need to do this.
I says, Pat, look at this. And she said, oh, that possibly can't work, and we really need to get out of here. But the next day I went back and I was so intrigued. I couldn't sleep that night thinking about the potential of that energy and the body healing itself. And Pat was so bad off in her health. And so I went back the next day and I says, Helen, I really want to have everything Nikan has. And I said, I'd like to try it.
And so without my permission, darn him, he got all this stuff. And of course, we didn't have any money. We didn't have, we put it on a credit card that we shouldn't have. And his philosophy was, if I'm going bankrupt, I might as well do it right and get my wife's health back.
If I had asked Pat to really, get it, I knew the answer was going to be no, no, no. And so I just went ahead and decided I'd ask forgiveness rather than permission. I went ahead and got everything that I felt we needed to have. And of course, when it showed up at the house, she was not a happy camper. She said she wasn't going to use it. And so I just did what she said, send it right back. And so I did exactly what she said. I cut all the boxes open, brought it into the house, put it on the bed. I put the water in, I put everything in the house, and I says, well, I guess if you're not going to use it, you have to move.
And he said, great, quit breathing, quit drinking the water, don't go to bed, jokingly. But seriously, the house got changed, we started using the technology, and in 17 days, I got my memory back, I got my energy back. 80% of my autoimmune symptoms were well under control, and within 2 months, 30 years of migraines were gone.
It made a remarkable difference in Pat's life very quickly.
Mac went to an event and came home and said, Pat, there's a business with this, and the gentleman that introduced it said that you could live your life through the business, and I take my family on a week vacation every month, whether I need to or not. And Mac came home and said, that's what we've been looking for 15 years. We'd interviewed a lot of businesses to find out, like Mac said, how we could live life through it without any limitations. We didn't want any limitations at all this time around. We'd already done our career, loved our careers, but they had too many limitations. So that was when Mac had a shift that there was a business, but I wasn't there yet. And then I went to a big event, and at that big event, I saw the footprint of what Nikan had in regards to the wellness home.
But we never understood there was a business with it until we got that first check from Nikan. It was about $83, $81 or $83. It wasn't a big one, but Pat got excited. She says, well, what is this all about? And she called our sponsor up and says, hey, we got a check back. Did we overpay? And Hilla says, no, you're doing the business. And Pat says, what business? And she says, well, you shared it with somebody, and they went and got products from Nikan. And Nikan's going to pay you for every time that you share it and send somebody to the company, they get products, you're going to get an income. And I looked at Pat and she looked at me and I said, you mean I could earn money with you talking?
And I said to Mac, I said, do you know what we have just found? I said, in 15 years of medicine, sitting in an emergency department, I said, if I could come up with an invention that would proactively keep people well, or if I could come up with a solution that when they're already challenged, they have a footprint or a journey map to follow that's easy, that doesn't have to change a lifestyle change, but is easy and they'll comply with, we could be very, very wealthy.
You know, I've always been a very positive person. My mother told me, you know, you could do whatever you wanted to as long as you decided to do it. And, you know, we'd ask, can we do something? And Mom would say, yes, you can, but you may not. You know, it was asking the wrong question. And when we first started this, Pat says, do you think you can do this? Do you think we can do this? And I said, oh, absolutely. You know, you can do anything that you want as long as you put your mind to it. And that's the way we set off to do this. And then one day, and we had decided that Pat would go back to work so we would have some interim income and be able to make the house payment. And we were going to see, we felt she could be out of her work by February or March, and one day she came home and says, well, how's it going? I says, well, you know, if this gets going, well, I probably will be able to get you out by June or July. And she just went right upstairs, didn't talk to me anymore, and the next day she got up and really kissed me goodbye, didn't say a whole lot, and by noon she was back home, and I said, short day today? She says, no, I took the if out of it. You said if last night, I quit today.
I said, there is no if. We have to make this amount of income by next month or we lose the house. No more if. Now, I don't recommend that to other people, but it scared the daylights out of me when he said if, because this works. And the only if is this. If you're gonna do this, you know, take the if out and go for it, and you're gonna make mistakes. And if you make a mistake, celebrate it, because it means you've learned what not to do. And our other motto is get in motion and correct and continue. So originally, we needed to be able to make enough money to make a house payment so the bank didn't repossess our home. So that was our first interim goal, and we achieved that in the first month and a half. Our next goal was to hit a $10,000 a month income, and we needed to do that quite rapidly, not to pay off bills, but to be able to fuel building the business bigger, so we'd have bigger pillars, and put some into living, and then put some away to be able to eventually pay off the bills. So we hit that in our 8th or 9th month, and then we set a bigger one. We kept saying every time you hit a goal, if you can hit it, then you should be able to double it.
To me, when I saw Nikan, I saw a huge door open, and it was a door for physical and financial wellness, and it's not just that one door opens, and as soon as you move through that, there's multiple doors behind that. And your whole life opens up. You've opened up your mind. The human's being more training that Nikan has. It shows you how to capture that mind, how to capture the dreaming, and just go for it. There is no stopping if you just look out there into the future, have your eye on the future. The past is behind you, and I always say, you know, as soon as something happens, it's in the past. Get over it, forget about it. It's already done. You can't change it. Learn from it and move forward. And that's all that Nikan has given us the opportunity is move forward, have fun, and just get out there and enjoy life. That's what it's meant to be. There is no yes ma'am in our relationship. It's an equal relationship. I have my ideas, she has her ideas, and we meld them together, and it just works perfect. We don't go to bed at night without thanking each other for what we did good for the day. We don't bring up the the less than happy things. We bring up the things that we're thankful for. So we wake up in the morning being thankful that we've got another great day to spend together, and before we go to bed, it's thanks for doing what you did today. It's made me happy.
I love to work in a space that's open and, you know, beautiful, and so I move around. And I walk into Mac's office, and he likes the command center with 1,000 business cards spread all over him. He's got a piling system instead of a filing system, and I thought in the beginning I should try to change that. And you know what? He works so well with sticky notes everywhere. And if he can do as well as he's doing with his system, I'm not cleaning it up, I'll just work outside.
This whole process is life-changing. You know, we hear about getting involved in something. It is life-changing because we personally grow with it.
It's interesting. I see some people when they get to a certain level of comfort. I was saying the other day that, you know, they might have a beautiful home that the company now pays for and live on a lake and be able to take a lot of time off, and they might throttle back into management mode. But we actually believe that with the 5 pillars that you can keep making them bigger and bigger and bigger. And we enjoy seeing the light bulb come on in somebody's eyes that gets it, the newness of being in front of new people.
If you keep your urgency up, keep your passion, keep your focus, you're going to do well in this business.
Most people don't know what true freedom is, but true freedom is being able to get up every day and make the choices you want, financially not have to look over your shoulder to find out if you can do it, the freedom to impact others, and the best is just the quality of family life. It's phenomenal.